Hello, my name is Sanchez. I'd like to share just a bit of my testimony with you. I started to play guitar at a very young age. Just some kids that we got together in the neighborhood and we just started a band together. I had a neighbor who lived a couple blocks away from me. He had a drum kit, and he had a garage where we could practice. About a block from him, we had another friend. He had a bass amp and a bass. So I had a guitar amp and a guitar, so we decided to start a band. So we started to play, just to practice every night, and we started to get good actually pretty quickly. At that time, I was very serious about learning guitar, so I would practice 6 to 8 hours a day on my own. Then we had nightly practices, and very busy at the time because I was still going to school. This was when I was pre-teenager. I wasn't even a teenager yet, and actually started working, holding down a job so I could buy some equipment. And things progressed as a teenager. We started playing around quite a bit. I had long played in bars before I was even old enough to walk into a bar, and played some big parties and things like that, and started to get like a pretty good crowd following of that. So by the time I was 18, I had developed actually a bad drug habit and a bad alcohol habit. And when I was 18, I had some very serious auditions in Hollywood, in California. And when I was 18, I was at a point in my life where I was at a crossroads. I had to make a decision. Was I going to pursue this musical career, or was I going to make a choice to live for Jesus Christ? See, there was a 2-week period I was in California. I was with an uncle of mine, and he started to tell me that how he accepted Jesus and that he changed. And I was just astonished at what he was saying, because he actually was different than what I had known him from before. And so after 2 weeks, I was just like, wow, just kind of just listening and taking it all in. And when it was time for me to come back to New Mexico, the day that we're coming back, I asked him if he would pray with me. I said I'd like to accept Jesus myself, so he did. And he prayed with me. We were just in a house, just me and him and my aunt. Nobody else was there, and I prayed a simple prayer, asked him as my Lord, accepted him as my Lord and Savior. And in a moment's time, I was changed. I felt different. There was something I was like, wow, I couldn't explain it. Something was different though. And I was immediately delivered from alcohol. I had a bad cocaine habit. Expensive cocaine habit. I had no desire to do that, or I was into other psychedelic drugs, and I had no desire to do any of that anymore. And from that time on, God set me free and delivered me from that, and I'm so grateful that He did that. So there, when I was at the crossroads, it's like, I'm glad I made the decision to accept Jesus Christ rather than pursue the rock and roll career, because I know there was absolutely no way I would have survived the rock and roll lifestyle. I would have not have. And by this time now, I would have been probably long dead and frying in hell. But God was grateful. He was merciful to me. Not only did He spare my life, but He gave me a better life than what I had before. And that's begun my adventure with God, adventure of a lifetime. I'm so grateful for that, because that put me on a direction that I'm still going. And about 4 years ago, I did have a stroke, and when I was hospitalized for about a couple of weeks when I had the stroke. And after I got out of the hospital, I went into a rehab facility, which I had to learn how to walk again, amongst other things right there. And I was there when I was in that facility, and I asked my wife to bring me a guitar so I could try to get some practice in. So she brought a guitar to me. So I hadn't played for a while, so I was excited to pull the thing out. So pulled the guitar out, was getting ready to try to play, and I found out I could not play. I just absolutely could not play. I knew in my mind I was thinking of what I needed to do, but I could not get my hands to coordinate. I could not react. I completely had lost the ability to play. And since I was 11 years old, I was just able to just pick up a guitar and just play. That was a God-given talent that I absolutely took for granted till that point. I didn't take it for granted anymore because I couldn't play. But again, God was merciful. When I had the stroke, I could have died, but I didn't die. God was like, "No, we're not done yet. We're not done yet." So here I was sitting there trying to play, and I was like, just crying out to God, "You have got to help me. Help, help." And God's faithful to help. And I tried to very little progression playing. But I was trying, but it was just ridiculous bad. Then about a few months ago, Mark and Roberta Salas, they came to visit me at the Conwood Mall. And they invited me to a concert they were going to have outside of their church. And they told me that Robert Polacco was going to be there with his band from Las Vegas, New Mexico. And I knew Robert. I'd known him for years. So I thought, well, I'm going to make a point to go to that. I'd like to see him. So I went there at the concert, or the outdoor concert they were having, and I saw Robert on the side of the stage, so I went to start to talk to him, and we were catching up on each other and what was going on. And of course, I told him that I had the stroke, and he said, "Brother, at the end of the concert, we're going to pray for people. You got to be sure to come up here so we can pray for you." I'm not going to pass up an opportunity to be prayed for, so I did. I went up there. He prayed for me. And when he prayed, I felt something. I wasn't quite sure what it was, but I did feel something. So when I left from the concert, I was excited to try to play a little bit. So I got home, pulled the guitar out, tried to play a little bit. And there was a noticeable improvement. And at that time, there was an acceleration of my healing process. And I was just, oh my gosh, please help, please, please. And there was such an acceleration in the process that I contacted Pastor Lujan and Pastor Day and asked for permission to start a band. So get started, and I'm still not 100%. My playing is very sloppy still, very noisy, but God is healing it, and I am on a progression. Getting better. Tonight, you're going to have an opportunity of a lifetime to meet the Creator of the universe. Don't pass by this opportunity. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. I thank you for listening.